my life. I started.
And building a personal brand business is all.
Okay, let's start
What
with
are people raving about? How can I do more of that?
Our culture, this instant gratification.
I'm going to do this. It's attached to a meeting, so we remember who agreed what.
Part 3 of this framework is to create raving fans.
Get asked, am I Hawaiian? Because
Hey there, Shakers. Welcome back to another episode of Worth Your Salt, the podcast that's here to supercharge your marketing in the health and wellness space. I'm Jennifer Orechwa, Story Brand Certified Coach, and over the past 2 decades, my team and I have tested, iterated, and figured out what it takes to market and grow so you don't have to. Now I'm here to help you apply the marketing systems that truly work. It's All Marketing. We're all about helping wellness practitioners like you build trust, authority, and a nonstop flow of clients. So if you're ready to take your practice to the next level, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Today's guests are a true Worth Your Salt success story, and honestly, this conversation feels a little surreal in the best possible way. I'm joined by Guichard and Ashton Guichard, the founders and owners of JAG Medical Spa, a thriving multi-location medical spa in South Carolina. Now, if you've been listening since the early days, you may remember them way back in episode 17 in season 1, when JAG was in a very different stage of growth. So 3 years ago, Guichard and Ashton were already doing great work and serving their community well, but like so many practice owners, they kind of hit a plateau. Marketing started to feel heavy, social media got inconsistent, and while new patients were still coming in, growth had kind of slowed and the path forward wasn't entirely clear. So fast forward to today, and JAG Medical Spa is in a completely different place. They've redefined their brand, clarified their message, built systems that support sustainable growth, grown their team, and expanded to 3 locations. Their website traffic has skyrocketed, their social presence has doubled, engagement is up hundreds of percentage points, and most importantly, they're serving more patients than ever with clarity, confidence, and purpose. What makes Guichard and Ashton's story so powerful isn't just the numbers, it's the intentionality behind their growth. They didn't chase every trend. They focused on positioning, patient experience, team culture, and building a business that actually supports the life they want to live. So today's conversation is about how they did that, what changed, what mattered most, and what other practice owners can learn from their journey. Guichard, Ashton, welcome back to Worth Your Salt. It's so good to have you here again.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
So take us back to the beginning. What originally inspired you to start JAG? What problem did you feel called to solve for your patients and your community?
Yeah, we just wanted to, both of us have been working in the medical field for a while and wanted to start something that we felt like we could run the way we wanted it in our way, which was very patient centric, and making sure that we offered kind of the best care first and foremost, as opposed to just, you get so bogged down in the hospital with business and making money. And we just, wanted to have a little different mentality. So that's what kind of motivated us to start our own practice.
Yeah, I love that. But so before JAG became what it is today, what did you think it would become? Like, how close or far are you from the vision of where you started?
Man, I feel like, never imagined owning a business first and foremost, never imagined running a successful business. And so it's just kind of pinch yourself from time to time just to kind of get back to reality and realize, we're doing it. So it's definitely grown a lot more than we anticipated. And so that just required a lot more help from and building a great team.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know you experienced real success early on, but then you kind of hit a plateau in 2023. And Ashton, I remember you coming to us and saying, the social media, I can't get to it all the time. So how did you know you were stuck? What did that season feel like as business owners?
As business owners, we also have to remember, we're also humans and we're parents and we're a family and we have 2 young kids. In that span, we had, 2 young kids, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And it was getting to be too much to take on social media and be present for our patients and be present for our staff and be present for each other and for our children. And so really, it just took having to sit back and be like, who else can I bring in to help me do what I did not go to school to do?
And I think that's a pretty common feeling. You realize like where your strengths are and what only you can do, and look elsewhere for the things that not necessarily are your strongest points. Not that you couldn't do them. And I find that a lot with the practitioners that we work with, that they're perfectly capable. Like they're entirely able to do all this. They've learned a ton. They move along. It's just the time. I mean, there's just not enough hours in the day. So when you look at JAG today, 3 locations, you've got booked out schedules, you've seen really impressive growth. What moment made you realize, hey, this might actually be working?
You.
Yeah, me have to answer that one. I just think word of mouth, when you start developing or start getting that kind of reputation, and people constantly coming in, and you always ask, like, how did you hear about us? And majority of the time it's, I heard from a friend, Facebook group in this community, you're mentioned multiple times. And, the number of times that patients sit down and say, wow, no one's ever explained that to me, or no one's ever sat down and kind of, really put together something that showed passion and true, results and driven. So I think that kind of was like, okay, we might be onto something. We might be having that good mixture, and continued from there.
I love that. And they always say that your brand isn't what you say you are. It's what other people say you are. It's like the conversations that are happening about you when you're not in the room. So I think that's a really important point. So if someone knew like one thing about Jag Medical Spa, beyond, of course, your services, what do you most want them to understand about who you are and what you stand for?
I would say at the end of the day, we're practice with integrity. We practice everything with integrity. We focus on our patients. We want the best results for our patients. We want the best things for our patients. And so we're not the type of clinic that's going to throw the kitchen sink at you and just want to make a buck off you and not see you again. We want to see you truly succeed and reach your goals. And that's kind of how we've always been as medical providers.
I agree.
For sure. Yeah. And I've seen that myself. I mean, I've sort of been honored to be part of your journey over the last several years. And I love talking about how all this started and the vision behind it and where it came from. Right now, we have to take a quick sponsorship break. But when we come back, I want to dig into how you made the growth happen, the decisions, the systems, and the strategies that changed everything. Back in a moment.
There's a reason some wellness practices are fully booked, while others are stuck wondering where their next patient is coming from. Jennifer Orechwa, founder of Salt Marketing, has helped med spas and wellness practices turn scattered marketing into predictable growth. And now she's sharing exactly how in her new book, Get Found, Get Booked. This is the same system used with Salt Marketing's highest level clients to attract the right patients, build trust online, and create consistent bookings without relying on constant promotions or guessing what to do next. Inside, you'll discover how to finally get found, get chosen, and get booked with a clear, repeatable marketing system designed specifically for wellness businesses. And you can start today. Go to getfoundgetbooked.com to download Chapter 1 for free. Get started building marketing systems that work for your practice at getfoundgetbooked.com. What are you waiting for?
We're back here on the Worth Your Salt podcast with Dr. Jared and Ashton Guichard of Jag Medical Spa. So you guys didn't just grow, you sort of changed how you grew. So what were some of the first strategic shifts that you made once you realized that sort of what got you here wasn't going to get you there? How did you change once you realized the old way wasn't the way?
I think outsourcing and learning to delegate. It's very easy to just be like, oh, I can do it all, until you realize you can't do it all and do it all well. And so, taking in a marketing team that had the experience, the knowledge, the time to help us and kind of get organized and revamp. And then, I feel like, y'all encouraged us to be more of the face where, as medical providers, we're used to being kind of behind the scenes and doing the work. And so it's a little intimidating to be up front and center, but having that little push to be like, here's what we need to do. Here's where we're at, here's where we can go, was extremely helpful during that stage.
And I know that's hard. It's hard to be the face of the business and be the practitioner, be everything. So, and I know that was a big leap. Now, rebranding from Jag Medical Cosmetics, which was your sort of original name, to Jag Medical Spa, that was kind of a big move. So how did that decision impact your positioning, your credibility, and maybe even your ability to scale?
Yeah, I think
it was nerve-wracking at first.
But I think it was good. It was a good reset, I felt like. And then it really kind of defined us a little bit more as more of a medical spa, as opposed to, I think when people saw cosmetics, they weren't exactly sure. But I think, in terms of understanding what a medical spa is, a lot more people have that kind of grasp. But I think it was good. I feel like that we made that kind of reset, kind of had a good plan. Salt helped develop that kind of future, marketing plan. And
it made sense.
Yeah. Since then, it's just been kind of rolling. So,
Yeah, and kind of at the same time, we took your website from sort of a placeholder. It was like an online brochure, really. So we took it kind of from placeholder to powerhouse. And what role did clarity, like having your messaging and your structure and your patient journey, play in increasing your bookings and the confidence of the community?
Yeah, and I think that's important to have a consistency. Like I felt like our website was a separate entity, and then our inpatient clinic was kind of separate. Our Google page and Google profile was separate, and I think nowadays, like newer patients who don't know anything about you, they want it to seem like it's all joined and it's all flows very well when they go on your website and stuff like that. So I think you kind of integrating all those things together where you can go to our webpage, our social media, and all of it seems like it's under one one roof, one umbrella, so to speak. Just kind of builds a little bit more confidence when someone's trying to find a provider or a new business.
Confidence and ease.
Yeah.
I think ease of use is huge in
For
this
sure.
market, because you don't want to lose that potential client, making them go an extra step just to book that appointment. And so capturing them while they're there was a huge change for us.
Yeah, and I think that cohesive brand in the marketplace, I definitely think has supported your growth for sure. So
Yeah.
how did that translate into social media? Social media kind of shifted from feeling like a chore to becoming kind of a little growth engine for you guys. So what changed in how you approached your content and showing up as real people?
Yeah, that was probably the toughest thing because before you hear videos and like do this and um, I'm all about education. So and you were a part of this. I'd do like 10-15 minute like educational videos about our services, Botox fillers, all those things, and we'd get maybe a couple of views, and then we kind of like sat back and realized like, all right, people want just quick, like little 15-minute little fun things just to kind of explore who we are. And so getting a little bit more guidance there, because obviously I don't have much experience in social media. So having Salt say, hey, do this little video, do this video, make it just was so much easier. So it gave us a lot more direction. I think direction is key, because otherwise, we just didn't know where to start. And sometimes that's the hardest part, is knowing where to start. And then now that we're more comfortable with it, now it's fun. And so the office gets excited
They
about
love
it.
it.
Yeah, they love it. I'm actually really enjoying it more than I thought I would. And so it's just fun. And then our patients' response has been huge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times patients come in and they're like, I love those videos. I didn't realize that you guys are all, funny and personal. And it's just like, all right, yeah, we are. So,
Yeah.
so it's cool.
Yeah, we love that. And being able to show your more human side as opposed to,
Right.
showing everything as perfect and polished. I think that people really relate to that. And so it makes you feel more approachable, which is what your brand is all about. I mean, being able to educate and connect with people. So I want to shift a little bit away from marketing into sort of more the operational side, because as patient volume increased, your systems really became critical. So what operational or automation systems have helped you grow without burning out your team? Yeah, I love that. And really, to your point a second ago, being able to still be there for them, still, have the ability to answer people and make sure that you're taking care of their questions and all that. All of those systems and processes are what enable you to continue to still be present in that way. So I love that those things really work together. It's not one or the other. It's the combined force of all of that together.
Yeah.
Okay, Jared, Ashton, it's time for another quick break. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to Worth Your Salt, and today I'm talking with Jared and Ashton Guichard, owners of Jag Medical Spa, about how they built a thriving multi-location practice by getting clear on their positioning, their systems, and their strategy, and how other practice owners can apply those same principles to grow with confidence. If something you hear today inspires you to grow your own practice, Salt Marketing would love to hear from you. Connect with us on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and let us know what actions you're taking today to grow tomorrow. All right, we're back here on Worth Your Salt, and there are so many owners listening who see themselves in your early story. I want to spend the rest of our time helping them connect those dots, like between where they are now and what's possible for the future. We've heard a little bit about what you built and how you built it. So the big question is, how can someone else do this too? How can we dig into the lessons that other practice owners can put into action? So what would you say the first thing that they should stop doing and the first thing they should start doing would be? If they're in that place where you were in 2023, what would you advise them to do?
I think our mindset was, which I think is very important, is that other clinics get caught up in purchasing or buying or following the fad or that new kind of treatment. But really what we did as a clinic is we sat back, looked at everything that was available and looked at the data. Like, bottom line, I always looked at the research, the independent research, what is actually going to truly benefit our patients. Because in the medical spa setting, even in the medical setting, you're developing a relationship with that patient long-term. And if we're giving them treatments that really don't have any data and not going to necessarily benefit them long-term, that relationship's going to fizzle out. And so we really sat down and said, what are we going to do for our patients that's going to be best long-term? And that really just took a lot of patience, because you have sales reps coming in trying to sell you this laser and the next best thing, and sales rep trying to sell you this, like exosomes, this and this and that. And you really you can get caught up in that and be like, yes, let's get that. Yes, let's get that. Let's do that. But truly there's no data behind it. And I think for us, we really just hit the pause button when anyone came in. Bottom line, we wanted to make sure, is it truly going to help our patients in this clinic long-term? And so that really kind of helped focus and narrow, our treatments, our recommendations. And so that makes it both a lot more, I guess, budget friendly too. And so you're getting great results. It's budget friendly. The patients know that we're there for them throughout that whole journey. And so, if we are confident in it, they know we've done our research, and they trust us and they trust our recommendations, and they're, certain that, they go through these steps, they're going to see amazing results, and they do. And so I think that just, I would recommend that for people getting into this industry, is not to jump on every fad, because what's going to happen is you're going to spend tons of money on it. No one's going to get results. And then that reflects on your reputation.
And I would say from an operational standpoint, just where we were in 2023, it doesn't hurt you to ask for help on your weak points. And so if you're struggling you don't have to have it figured all out to make it successful. And so there's other people in this industry that can help you, a great marketing team, hiring different positions in the office to help kind of assist you with those things so that you can focus more on patients.
I love that. Yeah, and in our last episode of Worth Your Salt, we talked with Alex Thiersch, who's the founder of AmSpa, and that was a big thing that he said was leaning on the community, like leaning into this community. And while it seems highly competitive, there are also a lot of people who have been where you are and can support your journey and make sure that you're doing the right things. And we love exactly what you just talked about, that we've worked with other clinics where they've invested heavily in equipment or a treatment, and then they're burdened by the debt load that comes from. And so that gives a little bit of an air of desperation to their marketing, and that sort of comes through in their brand. And I love that you guys don't do that. You don't jump at every new trend, and that everything you do is very solid and very intentional. And your growth really didn't come from doing everything. It came from doing the right things. So how did you decide where to focus your time and your energy and your money?
Yeah, I think once again, it just came down, I'm very data driven. And so it just came down to services and treatments that had a really high satisfaction and great results and were tried and true. And so we just really honed in on those, knowing that, if we perform this treatment, we perform these procedures, our patients are going to be happy with it. And so that just gave us the confidence in the treatment. Patients saw the results. And so that just kind of continues that trust. So if they trust you for this recommendation, then they know they can trust you for, daily care, daily products, different aspects of their life. And we're truly, I always say, like a whole body wellness. And so we really try to communicate that as well. And we cover the gamut of, at-home things, hormone replacement, weight loss, Botox fillers, all those things, anti-aging. And so I feel like, we honed in on the things that truly work. And so patients see that, they see that result, they know our reputation, they hear it from friends, they see friends going through those treatments that we're doing, and they see those results. And so it's just it's like a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. And so we really just kind of kept growing, and then you just grow exponentially once that trust is there. So.
And at the end of the day, we always stick to evidence-based practice.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's huge. And like I said, if there's other spas or other things that we hear, is that they're performing treatments that really don't have a lot of data showing that it's beneficial. And so patients spend tons and tons of money on it. And at the end of the day, when they're saying, I just spent $3,000 and I didn't see a difference, that's going to be, that hurts. So that's what we don't do at our clinic.
Well, and I think if we were to talk about that snowball, yours would be labeled trust, and I think that's a huge part of that, and particularly in this industry. I mean, people are trusting you with their health, they're trusting you with their how they look, and all those things are so important. But you've also built a strong team and culture alongside this sort of rapid growth that you've had. What kind of non-negotiables have helped you protect the quality, that trust, and the consistency of your business as you scaled and added new team members?
It's rigorous. I feel like, we've gone through and developed and kind of, handpicked a group of people that have our same mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really, really important. And honestly, like part of our training is, when we get a new staff member, a new provider, they're with me for a good duration of time before they're performing any of these treatments. If that makes, 3 months, 4 months before they're even injecting anybody. Because there is, an importance of making sure that you're getting at JAG, you're getting the best treatment. So we're not going to have anyone who just comes in and has little to no experience, little to no training. And unfortunately, you see that a lot in this industry, people who just go to an online course and then now suddenly they're thrown into it. We make sure that all our providers have hands-on experience for a long period of time. And I think our staff sees that as well. They know that with JAG, they have, and our staff talks about it a lot, we have, the best of the best. So our estheticians have been in it for 18, 20 plus years doing medical treatments, but we run things by each other. So it's a really collaborative effort. When we have a patient walk in, it's not just the estheticians, it's myself, even our makeup artists are involved sometimes. So we can literally say, hey, let me get so-and-so to come and talk with you too. And so there's days where maybe we'll go into our permanent makeup artist room and kind of talk to them about that stuff. Or I even call in our esthetician, hey, what do you think about this and doing this? And so it's really extremely collaborative. And I think that's fairly unique sometimes when you go to these more medical spas, where there's not a medical provider,
it's not a one-man show.
Yeah, exactly.
At our spa.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's involved and everyone feels involved, and they know our main goal, which is the best for the patient. And I think that just kind of resonates in our clinics.
It definitely translates in our care, and I think a strong desire to learn. We always kind of seek out those individuals to hire, join our team. We want them to be driven to learn and not just stop, because I think you quit growing if you stop learning. And so all of them express a desire to learn, and they go to trainings yearly, and we make sure that they're getting the best of information to keep their practice up to date as well.
And many of your providers are also award-winning in their own right. I know we've seen that happen. So that's fantastic. And it sounds like most of the things that you've imparted to them are really just part of who you are, which is great. So shifting back to marketing a little bit, marketing can feel intimidating, disappointing for a lot of med spa owners. So what would you say to someone who's kind of tried all the things in marketing and they're at that point where they're just like, marketing doesn't work. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, because we went through a couple of different marketing teams. So, and I guess between, her and I, it's like, when like we went with other companies and kind of started with them and they showed some of their work and we're just like,
don't settle.
Don't settle. Yeah. I'd say like, and I just felt like, when we met Salt and just the way they were able to put our brand together and make that, reflect in our social media and our pages and this and everything that we were doing. I just think, we knew that was much better fit because we didn't get that same kind of feeling from.
When I feel like our first meeting with you, Jennifer, was actually you brought us a book, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the book, but
story brand. Yeah, it's a story
yeah,
brand.
and you were the first kind of marketing team that presented it as, focus on what our why was, and nobody else really did that. And I feel like it got lost in all the fluff and the, everything that they were bringing. And so that really kind of sparked something else. So we were like, you're right. It's almost back to the basics at that point, where it's like, what is your why? And let that drive your marketing. And it's just more natural, authentic.
Yeah. And I would say like the difference is you were saying like, reflect on yourselves. What do you want to be? Whereas the other marketing team was what we were going to make you. And I just didn't feel like it quite fit. So like I said, you were the first kind of group that's like, what are you all aiming for? What is your kind of presence in the space going to look like, or what do you want it to look like? And reflect on yourselves first. And I think that was
it's a game changer.
Yeah.
I love that. So looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of JAG? What does success look like for you now compared to when you first started?
I think for me personally is just like Ashton touched on it, like just staying on top of the newer things that are out there and just offering the best and continuing to offer the best for our patients. So, because these once again, I call them fads and things like that. And it's just important to not fall into that trap of like, oh, everyone wants this, so we have to carry it or do it. Yeah. In my mind, it's, let's know more about it. And if the data's not there and we have something that's tried and true and is already evidence-based, and, the price point is much better, the value is much better, then we need to continue to do that, even though, we may not be, jumping on that newest trendy.
No impulse buys for us.
So we want to kind of stay there and kind of still offer. I think the hard part is when you're expanding, it's hard to be in the same place everywhere. So, once again, hiring providers that have that same mentality and things like that is where we're headed with the expansions and things like that.
I love that. I know everyone listening is wondering how to get in touch with you, like how to find and connect with you. Your story is so compelling. So tell us where we can find you online and connect with you.
So social media, we're at JAG Medical Spa, and website, jagmedicalspa.com.
Very easy. And of course, if you want to learn more about JAG Medical Spa, I will link everything up in the show notes at saltmarketing.co. So Ashton, Jared, it's time for our lightning round questions. We did this once before, so let's see if your answers are any different. Are you ready for this?
That's different. Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So first question is, what's something about you that often surprises people?
A lot of people don't know. I was a high school teacher for a couple years.
I can see that. I can see that.
Didn't know that biology and science before I went to med school. So I think that was a valuable experience.
Yeah.
So for me, I love baking. That's my creative outlet. Love it.
I like that. I like that. Plus now you have helpers now.
Oh,
all right. Next question. What's your favorite thing about the work that you do?
For me, it's just seeing, when we get patients, they always have some kind of, I don't want to call it an issue, but a problem and something that's really reduced their quality of life. Whether it's, aging, whether it's hormone imbalance, mood, weight, but correcting those and improving those is by far kind of the most rewarding thing. I've worked a lot in different hospital systems in the hospital outpatient clinics, but when you can kind of see someone's quality of life improve so drastically, and not that we need thanks or anything like that or recognition, but I mean, you get emails, you get people who tell you, to your face, and then they tell other friends, and so just getting that validation of like what we're doing is truly helping people is just so rewarding.
And I love seeing, our 3-year-old, I just love him watching us do he calls it our work. And so to have him watch us kind of build and work hard and
work together.
Yeah, that's a really rewarding part for me, I think. And he's got his own little scrub set that says his name on it. And he loves wearing it. So that's really
I love it. Leon with the entrepreneurial spirit at age 3. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Your relationship or your connection can get lost. And we still, we find us having those moments where we just don't feel connected because we're just so pulled in so many different directions. And And then it's about kind of like, okay, like let's reconnect, because that's not why we started this business, so we can feel disconnected. We did it because we were like, yeah, like it would be awesome to work together and build something together. But it certainly has those moments. But bottom line is just kind of making sure you take that time to reconnect.
Love that. All right, last question. Who's inspiring you right now? What podcasts are you listening to, or what's the best book you might have read recently?
I would say we've been reading How to Train Your Dragon on repeat.
Excellent. I thought you might say, Very Hungry Caterpillar. I don't know.
That's one of them in the rotation. We've got really strong readers in our family, so our focus has shifted a little bit on the book side lately.
Yes.
Very nice. That's funny. All right, Jared and Ashton, thank you so much for joining me today on Worth Your Salt.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, I want to thank you, Salt Nation. And of course, if today's conversation has you thinking you're ready to take your marketing to the next level, that's exactly what we're here for at Salt Marketing. We would love to talk with you about your goals and your vision for your practice, so connect with us at saltmarketing.co. Of course, be sure to subscribe to Worth Your Salt so you never miss an episode. Finally, leave us a review or give the show a handful of stars wherever you get your content. That's all for this episode of Worth Your Salt. Be sure to join me again next time. In the meantime, let's get out there and shake things up.